So about a month in with the war in Iran, and every headline, every casualty report, every clip that we consume on social media, it seems to be bombarding us left and right. And as you're watching this, as you're consuming all this content, it makes you feel guilty for being out. It makes you feel worthless. Maybe it's also making you feel like you're re-experiencing a lot of the same traumatic events that you had while you were in. And if you fall into that bucket, I know what you feel. So I want to be able to address some of these things and walk with you certain steps to be able to overcome a lot of this guilt. Maybe you're re-experiencing a lot of these things from past events, and these might be triggering you into falling into the cycle. Step one is to name what you're feeling, call it out and expose it. Whether it be guilt, anger, hopelessness, you need to call it out, bring it from the darkness and into the light. See, the military trained us to suppress our emotions, because if we try to let our feelings and emotions dictate our behaviors and actions, it's going to get us killed or our battle buddies killed. But we can't sustain that. We've been so conditioned to think that way that it carries on for the rest of our lives. We're not even in that dangerous environment anymore, hopefully, but it still affects us mentally. So we need to call out those feelings, bring it out to the light. You're not weak for being able to call it out and be vulnerable and honest about what you're truly feeling inside. Because we have these feelings. We're human beings. We weren't meant to carry all this burden, all this weight of guilt and shame. That's the lie of the enemy, Satan himself. Don't believe him. So we need to bring it out in the darkness, from the darkness into the light. Step two is probably the most important part of all this. We need to limit our news intake. We need to limit what we consume online and offline. If we're doom scrolling, if we're watching TV, if we're leaving the TV on 24/7, even if it's just background noise, that is a direct impact on your mental health. Because I used to be so obsessed with doom scrolling, I would just consume and consume and consume to the point where it would cause me to feel depressed and anxious about my life. So we need to be truly cautious and intentional about what we consume, especially with these current events going on. And I'm not saying to completely disconnect from the world. I want us to be intentional about what we're truly consuming. Even if it's like 15, 20 minutes a day, if it's like one article a week, so be it. But we need to not have the TV on 24/7 in the background. We need to be intentional of what we're scrolling on social media. And if you're always liking these things, if you're always engaging and commenting, the algorithm is going to keep on feeding you this. This is what social media does. It's going to manipulate you. It's going to convince you that you need to see more of this. It's going to feed you more of what you're already engaged with, what you're already liking and commenting on. It's going to feed into that, and it's going to feed that behavior. It's going to trigger you more and more. So we need to be very cautious. We need to be very intentional about what we're consuming. Step three, redirect that energy into a new mission. So it was easy to justify our mission, our purpose, our identity when we were in the military. But when we're back home and we're back into the civilian world, we don't have that new mission anymore. We often don't have that newfound purpose. And if you do have that, that's great. We need to redirect that energy that we would otherwise, with this all the news, all the consumption, we need to redirect all that energy into serving, into fulfilling that newfound purpose we have. We need to consistently be driving ourselves toward a meaningful goal, a meaningful outcome that we want to see in the world. And if we're always consuming, if we're always feeling victimized about like what's happening in the world, then we're not doing anything good in our lives. We're not going to be moving the needle forward in our lives, or for being able to help anyone else. So we need to redirect that energy towards a new mission. So if you don't have that mission right now, it's likely that you're experiencing even more anxiety, guilt, and that energy is being fed in a negative fashion. So we need to channel that. We need to put ourselves in the right direction. Step four is to talk to someone who gets it. We need to talk to actual people who've served. We need to talk with other veterans and service members. We need to belong with the community of people that understand what you're going through. Maybe you have a coach or mentor or a therapist. You need to be real and upfront about what you're feeling. Remember step one, right? To call out the feelings that you're going through. And we just need to be upfront and talk with others, because we can't let ourselves be so consumed in all the noise of the world that it completely directly affects our ability to live out our own lives and fulfill a mission and fulfill a true purpose that we're called to do, when we're so obsessed with so much of the noise of the world. So talk to someone who understands. And see, you can honor your service without being destroyed by it. Feeling that pull doesn't mean you failed at transitioning. It means you care deeply about the mission, and now you need a new one if you haven't got one already. And when I found my purpose serving veterans and other first responders, that energy that I was always worried about needed to have a direction. I have a direction. I know I have somewhere to go. So it's not law left in vain. My time in the service wasn't left in vain. Even though I was a reservist, I don't care anymore. I mean, I do care, but I don't, if you know what I mean. So we need to have that direction. We need a mission. And that structure, that mission, that community, that's how you stay grounded when the world is trying to pull you back into chaos. This war is temporary. All these things that we're worried in the world is temporary. Our lives are temporary. And if we're so caught up and so worried about the world's problems, it's going to pull us left and right. So we need to be very aware and cautious and intentional about where we're heading in our life and not letting so much of that noise pull us away. I do currently have spots open to work with me one-on-one to be able to help you find your next mission and build a structure to pursue it if you haven't found that mission already. So if you're a veteran or first responder who does feel stuck in their own life, there is a link to apply in the description below. First come, first serve. Let me know in the comments what you think about what's going on in the world. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Lord bless you. Semper Fi.